Welcome to Anuga F&B Talks. In this series, we are inviting global players and innovators from the industry to share their stories and showcase their innovation in anticipation of Anuga 2025, the biggest trade show for the food and beverage industry worldwide. Thanks for tuning in.
Kati, I just had the chance to learn from you about your company, Infinite Roots, and more importantly, the new brand, Mushroots. I really enjoyed our talk and how you shared the story of Infinite Roots and how you developed the new product. Thank you for being here and sharing your expertise.
Thanks for having me.
Kati, great to have you here in our little Anuga F&B Talks studio here at Kitchen Town in Berlin. Really happy to have you here. You're representing Infinite Roots, respectively Mushroots, which is your newest brand. Maybe first of all, can you tell us, as you're one of the co-founders, can you tell us what inspired you for the company Infinite Roots back in 2018 or 2019?
Yes, yeah.
2018.
Yeah, thanks for having me, first of all. Very nice being here in the surroundings. Super nice also seeing the other startups. Yes, what inspired us for Infinite Roots back then, Mush Labs. So, of course, if you look into the environmental situation, the sustainability impact that is especially missing in the food industry, we saw that biotechnology can have a huge impact on solving that. And we wanted to use the power of mushrooms to really have an impact on the way how we eat, so having an impact on the food culture, but also using and leveraging mushrooms and their power with the help of biotechnology, creating a platform that is really closing the gap in the food production and using byproducts that we heavily produce. So there's a lot of food that is not fully used, and we can make use of that and use it in our process and create new tasty products with that.
So back then it was kind of new approach to use mycelium. So this is what we're talking about for meat alternative products. So was that a totally new idea back then, or like how was the situation?
So there's one company that exists for a long time, Corn from the UK. What for us was very important to fully focus on edible mushroom strains. So that is, first of all, an emotional aspect. So we see that consumers want to know where their food is coming from, and we are able talking about the actual mushroom because in our process, we are just focusing on the edible strains. And with that, we also have a huge impact on the flavor profile. So umami is one of our key benefits and USPs in our products because the edible mushroom strains come with a lot of umami. So come very close to a meat-like flavor impression. And that is why, for us, that focus was very early on super important.
Okay, and just roughly, like, can you lead us through the process of how you make from mycelium, so the roots of a mushroom, if you will, actual meat alternative products? So how does that work?
So if you look into the full technology platform, it's basically that we can use. So in nature, a mushroom is basically using what the other two kingdoms, so the plant and animal kingdoms, leave behind, and they create new life from it. And this recycling benefits from the mushroom we also use in our process, which means the byproducts that we have in the food industry are super high in nutrients still for a mushroom. And these nutrients we are using to grow the mushroom biomass. And this material is produced in a liquid fermentation process, so it's very comparable to a beer brewing process. You have a big fermentation tank, and in that you have basically the organism growing, the mushroom is growing in the liquid, and then we separate it afterwards from the liquid, have the solid base, so the mushroom itself, and use that as our main ingredients in all food products. So adding just minimal ingredients afterwards because we have already a tasty base that comes with its own texture. And the mushroom already, the way how it grows is very close to meat. Nevertheless, we are not trying to imitate meat for all sake in our final products. We are really focusing on just adding the bare minimum of ingredients that we need in terms of texture or just flavor, like classical seasonings, to really not imitate, because we see that it is more for being an authentic product, but not trying to be something that we cannot be, where we definitely see the benefit.
All right. So considering that, like, as a startup, you no longer are tiny, but already grown quite quickly, also in terms of team size, as you mentioned beforehand. What was the journey also in terms of product development? Because now as we're tapping into fermentation, precision fermentation is a neighboring field in that sense. We will quickly also talk about novel food legislation. So when was the first time that you noticed that novel food is actually quite complicated?
So basically, we were very early aware of any new, like really innovative food product needs to be checked with authorities. We need to make sure looping them in. When was the first time? Probably from start we were aware. However, there is a very big landscape to the legislation on European level, on country level. And it was for us, I would say, a navigation through like really understanding where are we falling into. You have different perspectives if you are actually falling into the novel food legislation or not. However, we are at the moment in a very close relationship with the German authorities, and there we are very happy the way how we approach it. They're very open, they're really collaborative on exchanging know-how, exchanging ideas, and really learning about that huge new world with mushrooms, where we see that so far overall mushrooms is a really unknown space, so to say. So for us it's really more about talking about the mushroom, not so much about the process, since fermentation as a process exists for a long time, right? So there is not too much new to it. But the mushroom part is basically what people do not know so far.
As I understood it, you're also tapping into like abroad markets to some extent to also test the grounds in a certain way. And as I understand it now, you would be using the mushroom as the overall hypothesis, and then see what's actually possible within local legislation. Is that correct?
Yeah, what we definitely see is that in other countries, especially in the Asian countries, mushrooms are well known, heavily established in the cuisines. There's a lot of know-how. So for them, it is actually a no-brainer that this is a product you can eat and you can consume. And this is why it's much easier in the Asian countries for us to bring the product to market. Also in terms of communication, we see there people are very much aware of what a mushroom is, and umami is the concept that is coming from Asian countries, right? So for us, there is definitely a high potential. Nevertheless, we are a German-based company. We have grown the team here, and we really want to bring a product to market here. This is why for us, it's of course also very important to have a communication with the authorities here, ensuring that they have the same understanding and feel safe of bringing a product to market.
That was quite noticeable actually, because a while ago you also announced that you got another financing round with about 58 million or so. Like what? And that was at a time when like the funding environment was quite tough to navigate through. What's giving your investors the trust that you pay back their money at some point?
Yeah, I think it's definitely several aspects, right? So it is the potential of the whole kingdom of mushrooms. So there are more than 2,000 species that are even edible. So we have so far only tapped into a very few range of species where we are at the moment consuming them in buying them regularly in supermarket. But with our technology platform, we are opening up this whole kingdom, and we are able to create different kind of ingredients that are super powerful in a final product. So for me, that aspect of using fermentation to really customize your ingredient, to reduce the amount of ingredients you need in the final formulation, is still a super, super strong platform where we definitely see a huge potential, same as our investors do.
Okay, yeah, that should be aligned for sure. All right. The Bitburger Brewery Company is also one of your investors with their VC arm, and you're also cooperating with the guys strategically when it comes to side streams of their production process. So maybe this is something you can explain a little bit more.
Sure. As mentioned earlier, so you see in the food industry, there are many, I always call them byproducts, because in nature you also do not have waste, right?
Yeah.
So the concept of having material that can still be used for something. And in the beer brewing process, of course, you have a lot of side streams, so a lot of products at the end of the process. And this is for us still a lot of nutrition. So we definitely see the benefit of using that side stream. And this is our main source of nutrients for the mushroom, basically. So it can perfectly grow on that brewing side stream. And what we see even more is that the interesting bit is that the brewing industry is like declining a bit. So beer consumption is going down. And our strain and our process is overall like very robust. So we can even use existing facilities from the brewing industry and grow our products in there. So we are not even only using their byproducts, but can completely have our process in their equipment and in their facilities. So it completely closes the loop and allows us to go into a very asset-light approach. And we do not need to invest into heavy facilities, but can actually repurpose existing facilities.
Would you expect that also to work at really high volumes and high scale? Because then, of course, it gets a little bit complicated when the one thing is growing quickly and the other thing maybe not in the same pace.
So for us, it was from day one always the key decision factor, is it scalable? So as founding team, we always looked into, it cannot just be a lab idea. We want to reach mass consumers. We really want to have an impact on the food system. So everything that we are doing needs to be early on benchmarked to industrial scalability. So that was very early on a decision factor, actually.
All right, exciting.
Hi, I'm Jan Philipp from Anuga. And if you want to meet innovation drivers like Mushroots, come to Cologne, visit Anuga in October, and visit the biggest trade show for the food and beverage industry. We are looking forward to meet you there.
I want to talk with you about Mushroots, because that is obviously the brand that you are advertising for here also. Just tell us. So that is the brand that will hit the market here also in Germany quite soon.
Yes, exactly. So Mushroots is our consumer-facing brand. We are starting with a food service, with chefs. However, we're going to enter retail as well with that same brand. It is, for us, like there is the mush inside. So the mushroom is the key element that we want to talk about. We are at the moment really leveraging the potential of mushrooms, and we want to communicate about them. We want to showcase that they actually enable a completely new category. So by saying we are not trying to imitate for all sake meat, we want to show that with the amount of umami you actually get in your dish what people are craving for, but in a cleaner way, in a healthier way, without adding too many ingredients. And we are coming with a perfect nutritional profile. So we come with fibers, with protein, amino acids, so everything that you're looking for when you're having a complete dish. And the most important, with a strong umami, so the tasty element.
Right. So hitting the market with a new meat replacement product or alternative protein product, I would expect right now is a bit challenging, because we have this uncertainties in the market to some extent. So there were some real ups and downs in the past, and the adoption curve has at least a little bit flattened. So how have you anticipated this market trend in the launch of Mushroots?
Yeah. So I would see it's a classical behavior that you see across innovation, new markets, right? That there is always that flattening point. However, since we are also heavily focusing on solving aspects that so far the plant-based industry still has, so in terms of authenticity, like really not trying to imitate, this is what we see as like really one of the next steps of that wave that we can deliver on, and that we are really focusing on bringing that promise to consumers, which we see as still a lot of potential. So there is still a change that is needed in our way of how we eat, and we want to have an easier change and see there the mushroom playing a key role into bringing that promise to the customer without feeling that you're eating something that you do not really want to eat.
All right. Okay, makes sense. So we are talking about the legendary meatball. So we see it here in the picture already. I'm quite excited already because we will be trying it in a minute. What made you choose the format of the meatball? So was that a conscious decision, or did you have other options?
No, for me, actually, the shape is quite an important aspect because it reminds you of meat-like product. However, this round shape is something that is not specifically only meat, right? So you have balls in a falafel, you have them in sweet applications. So a ball can be used in very different ways. And it also allows you to use them in many, many different dishes. So we're using the product, as said, it's not like super over flavored. It comes with a very good umami taste on its own, but that allows you also multiple cuisines, and you can use it like a köttbullar, so very classical meat-like, or you can just put it on top of a salad, which just brings the extra
Okay, so you see it as the more versatile option in a way, and you preferred that over say sausage or steak or something like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's definitely an easy to use item in an everyday dish.
Okay, so getting really excited about it. So excited how that will taste.
Sure.
Yes, so you will be showcasing that at Anuga this year.
Yes.
It's the first time as a company for you at Anuga. Like, what is the main goal for you at Anuga this year?
And main goal for us is actually showing at Anuga how great mushrooms are and how much they can contribute to our cuisine and how we can really starting to establish a new category, a tasty, clean product category that doesn't want to be something that it isn't, but like really showing you the potential of changing your everyday dish in a tasty, healthy, but sustainable way.
All right. So what's the like it's getting into the market right now? Like what's the first feedback that you're getting, say, from professional chefs?
Yeah. So for me, as having also worked in the industry, it's really important to hear what chefs are saying.
Yeah.
And so far, the feedback is just great and positive. So like people are asking to buy more and more of our products. We are reaching the best-selling items on all menus so far.
Okay.
So we are really proud about what we have achieved with the product, and also getting like honest feedback from chefs that they really appreciate the flavor profile, the texture, and they enjoy working with it. The way how it cooks, it behaves super natural. You don't need to train your team or even learn yourself some new skills to use it. So it's like really smoothly getting integrated into your day-to-day work and routine, and is just adding the extra bit.
All right. All right. So my mouth is watering. Let's go to the kitchen and try it out. Thank you.
Great, thanks.
So now here at the kitchen, we see the product already on the counter. So this is the form how the professional chef would get it in frozen form, right?
Exactly, in frozen,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So so let's try it out. So the premiere for myself to be function as the chef myself, and I would just put them into the pan.
Yeah, so what is for us or was very important in the development is actually a natural cooking behavior, so that it doesn't come with any specific skills, or that for you it will also be as easy as for a chef or whoever is cooking that at home.
That's perfect. And now the party starts. Love that you have also the branded equipment with you. So the cooking behavior, you say, is the same, and it would take us a couple of minutes, and
Exactly.
then it's
A
ready.
few minutes that you see the browning to happen. According to however you prefer products, right? There are some people who like it a bit lighter, other people who enjoy it a bit darker, but that is, of course, customizable according to how you prefer it.
How would chefs and gastronomy combine it? What are the most prominent dishes that you've heard of so far?
That was for me actually quite interesting to see how different people are using it in their dishes. So we have seen from using it with sauce, like light sauce, or even going into a pasta dish, up to salads, curries. So that is actually one of the nice things, that you can use it in so many different dishes and cuisines, because it does not come with this artificial aroma that feels like you can only use it in a specific case, but you can really play it across different cuisines and dishes.
Okay. Sounds promising. So we're getting closer to it. Like the ball format is always a little bit hard to flip in the pan, but I try my best.
Are you used to induction? I think that is probably the only difference to home cooking sometimes.
Yeah. It's really fast, I would say. In your office, do you have these for lunch every day?
Not every day, but definitely we have them for lunch. But we also support our gastronomy partners, so we have ordered them from Stadtsalat as well already. So, yeah.
So, as we heard, you have chosen quite wisely the format of the meatball. Are you planning also other applications in the future?
Of course. So we definitely see the potential for many different applications. We are working heavily on developing a big range of use cases, of shapes, of formats. Also working with different taste and flavor profiles. So not just staying in, like, that is right now a very plain version, so to say, but we're even looking into different herbs and seasonings. So
yeah, that's the beauty of meatballs, right?
Exactly.
Because you have these in every cuisine in Europe.
Yeah.
In their individual interpretation. So I would say we're now ready to go, right?
It's
so good. I mean, obviously you know how that tastes, but I'm already really excited to try. Let's jump out. We also have some sauce and a little bit of onion. Has to look nice, right? So I'm now obliged, I can now try.
Enjoy.
Thank you. Really cool. Wow. Yeah, I would. There's definitely some mushroom in it.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. Wow. Really good. I mean, you promised umami, and there it is.
Good. Happy to hear.
Like that.
What do you think of the texture?
Quite nice. It's really the fibers in a certain way that you know from meatballs. Really good. Now I'm really curious to see and to hear what the reaction will be from our test eaters. We can go to the studio and let them try, I would say.
Cool. Yeah.
Okay, it totally looks like meat. Or like these cat polars in IKEA.
Okay, that looks quite fancy.
First impression for the texture is pretty nice with the fork.
It smells really delicious. Not like mushrooms or something.
Yeah, that's really good. That's tasty.
And very juicy as well.
It's also like crispy from the outside and really nice and soft in the inside.
I like it. Yeah, it tastes like meat, even if it's not meat.
I couldn't tell any difference from meat. So if I would compare it blind, I would say it's meat.
Good job, I would say. Das war wirklich gut. Ich bin gelogen.